I'm very, very fond of whenever I talk about the value of success, motivation, inspiration. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar already with the value of grit, which is what I named my book after. But tonight, I'd like to talk about the execution of success and why I think in today's times, most people fail simply because they keep on falling in love with their dreams too much. But in the end, they fail in executing it. What I hate, and I'm based in KL for quite some time now, almost 2 years. What I hate is I go out on a Friday night, and there's always my friend who I always get drunk with. We go out on a Friday night, and you meet new people, and then they ask you, so what do you do? And then a lot of them would say, oh, we're building this new mobile app, And then I ask them, yeah, but have you been cash positive? Or how long have you guys been doing this app? And a lot of them would always say, but yeah, it's been 2 years, but we haven't done anything yet, but we're building it. And I really hate these kinds of situations because a lot of us, especially our generation, the millennials, fall into this trap of falling in love with an idea, but we don't end up completing or finishing in the end. If you guys are familiar with the executive producer of How to Get Away with Murder, Shonda Rhimes, and she said, dreams are lovely, but dreams are temporary, ephemeral, and abstract. And unless you execute them, you don't get anything from them at all. And this is why, lesson number 1 I'd like to share, just quickly. And I'd like to share this quick talk, which is called From Grit to Great. These are my social media accounts, by the way. If I don't get to answer all of your questions because I'm chasing a flight in a while, and I'm sorry for keeping and repeating that. These are my social media accounts if you'd like to ask anything else. But the one key thing I'd like to share in tonight is this. I'd like to believe that you don't need to say yes to every opportunity of success. I'd like to believe that successful people are those who also know when and why and how to say no. I'm going to start this with the idea that all of us here, and maybe I can get a raise of hands, who here has a to-do list every day? Right? You list down the things you want to do. Likely there are 5 things, 10 things, or 20 things. And don't you feel like you're Superman or Wonder Woman if you're able to accomplish them? Right? If you're able to cross out everything. A lot of you guys are obsessive compulsive about that. But I also bet that if you're not able to cross out anything, you feel you're less of a person. Right? That's right. And in fact, science tells us, Harvard Business Research tells us that it's mostly women who make these kinds of to-do lists. Right? If you're a guy and if you do one, don't worry, you're not less of a man. It only means you're likely more successful than the rest. Alright? But the idea, guys, is this. Science also tells us that humanity was never designed to do so many things at the same time. There's no such thing as multitasking 5 or 10 things and doing them brilliantly. At the end of the day, science tells us that we can only do 2 to 3 things. Focus on those things and spread yourself thickly and focus, laser focus on it. I'm going to give some anecdotes, and I'm going to start with asking you to imagine this. So I talked about Shonda Rhimes a while ago, and let's pretend you are in the scene of Grey's Anatomy. Alright? You guys watch Grey's Anatomy? Cool? You guys watch Grey's Anatomy, right? Alright. Let's pretend that you are with 5 doctors. You are in the lobby of Seattle's Grace Hospital. And suddenly a bus crashes in front of you. Alright? All clear? The bus contains 40 passengers. And there's only 5 of you. And when you see the bus crashing, you suddenly see some patients. Now, patients. Some may have lost a limb, some may have lost an eye, some may have died, some are surviving, etc. If you're one of the doctors, and those 5 doctors, what's the first thing you're supposed to do?
Save lives.
Obviously. Alright? Please don't tell you call 911 because you are already one. I did this talk in a Fortune 500 company, and one of them said, I'd like to call 911, but we're already in the hospital. Right? Segregate? That's right. You prioritize, right? In the medical world, in terms of calamities, earthquakes, disasters, etc., we have what we call as a French term, which is triage. Triage is a French term which means to filter. And what it does is that if there are too many people demanding for medical attention, but there are too few people who can supply that medical attention, i.e., there are too few paramedics, too few doctors, they have to prioritize those people who will likely survive. In triage, we also acknowledge the fact that if someone is going to die anyway, we regretfully and painfully abandon them to die. Because there's no point and focusing your efforts to them because they're going to be dying anyway. Why am I sharing the value of triage? Because life is like this. Every day when we go to work or to school, we get bombarded with so many things. You receive a WhatsApp or Viber message from your boss, an email from your colleague, a call from your boyfriend or girlfriend. You see a billboard and you see a cute girl or guy and your attention gets suddenly shifted and all these things. And you feel compelled that you have to accomplish all these things at the same time. Right? That's how we feel. That's what humanity is designed for. Unfortunately, putting yourself onto so many things, spreading yourself too thinly, at the end of the day won't lead you to success. What you want is to focus only on one big thing and make a good name out of it. And I'd like to prove this by sharing with you these people. And you guys know who these people are, right? Richard Branson. Who else? The richest Asian in the world, Jack Ma. Steve Jobs. Warren Buffett. Alright? Bill Gates and Oprah. If you look at their biographies, guys, if you look at their books, if you look at one reason why they say they are successful today, and Warren Buffett says it best, and he says, for every 100 opportunities presented to me, I decline to 99 of them and focus only on one big thing. Because if I put my attention on so many things, and if I become too ambitious, accomplishing too many things, at the end of the day, I won't be able to accomplish anything at all. And this is my pet peeve with today's Generation Z, or even Generation Y. The media makes us believe that we can be a Justin Bieber,